friends, and welcome back to another episode of Football Manager Therapy. It's been a minute. It's been a hot minute, but we are back, and I'm delighted to be able to introduce you all to the full FM team. We're all here. Look at us. If you're watching on YouTube, you can. If you're listening to this, then just ignore this, but everybody's here. The whole gang is here today. I am, of course, your host, Rich Owens, and I've missed you terribly. It's been strange. It's been strange not getting to chat to you for a couple of weeks. But look, everyone's here today. Directly below me, University Challenge style, we have got Callum. Hello, mate. How are you this morning?
Hi, Rich. Hi, you're so high
Hello.
up there. I'm great, thank you. Looking forward to it. It felt very odd missing a week, even though I've only been in for a week. So it's just bizarre. I was saying that to Kev. But yeah, pleasure to be back.
Look, a pleasure to have you back here. Again, apologies. Last week, lack of episode, entirely my fault. I had the audacity to go on my honeymoon. So sorry. But it was nice. I had a good time. But nobody to talk to about Segundo Volantes. So in hindsight, probably a massive waste of time. We've also got the most suspicious looking man in the FM community.
He's
Jeb
very
Callum,
happy.
is everything okay, mate?
What's this guy here?
Oh,
He
yeah.
said it was just a guest. Like, why is he here?
Yeah, I don't know what to say, mate.
Awkward.
Yeah.
No,
Did you not get that? I know you. Oh, you're in Germany. I've been sending the correspondence to different countries.
First of all,
Sorry.
to record in Germany, and now this guy there dancing away. You know.
I'm here forever, Jeb. In your face.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do we need to rearrange the screen and sit me between them or something? That going to help?
no, I think I like it like this. I think I like it like this because it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. This is the therapy section of Football Manager Therapy. It's going to be okay. Apart from the massive surprise and who sat next to you on screen, Jeb, how are you, mate? Is everything else okay?
I'm still trying to get my head around this. I mean, I'm going to apologise for my language now, but what the hell is doing here? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. There we are.
That is harsh to say about Kev. I say this every time. You need to be
I
kind.
like Kev's beard though. That's amazing. I do like that. That just cheers me. Yeah.
It's a great beard, though. It's a really, really strong beard. Now we've also got the fourth member of the FM team here who sat next to me, but it wouldn't feel right if I introduced them this week. So what I thought I would do, Jeb Heyman, if you would like to do the final introduction of this morning's episode.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jeb Heyman, and I am the advocate for the reigning, defending world heavyweight FM champion, Kev Lesnar.
It's Kev Lesnar.
I did a thing.
You absolutely did a thing, mate. How are you this morning, man?
Oh, completely done in. The party was like all night long. And can I just say, the one thing that I've discovered in the last couple of hours is open top bus companies do not like you calling them just after midnight to see if they can hastily arrange one for you the following day. They really don't. I don't know. They had Jeb's sound effect and everything. It was awful. But yeah, other than that, it's been really fun. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Oh, honestly, that's been one of the highlights. One of the highlights of my weekend was that result rolling in. So fantastic, mate. Congratulations. And it's lovely to have you here. It's lovely to have you back. I've missed my Kev time. I've missed my time with everybody.
It's really weird. Callum is right. Last week we didn't record and it just didn't feel quite right somehow. So I'm pleased to be back. It's good. And we've got the whole gang together who are all ecstatically happy to be together and be the FM team. So, we're all good. It's great.
Yeah.
Can't see a problem at all.
No, absolutely none. Absolutely none whatsoever. None whatsoever. It's all going to be fine moving forwards. Trust me. Everything's going to be okay. We'll sort out this whole, Callum and Jeb situation. Then we'll just move on to other global conflicts. I think we can fix them. We can fix. Everything's going to be fine. We're going to fix everything. Don't worry, boys. Don't worry. Good. Everyone's here. Everyone's happy, probably. Let's do some podcasting, shall we, fellas? Let's do some podcasting. The good old-fashioned podcasting, the way we used to do.
Those many 2 weeks ago.
Those many 2 weeks ago. Or as Jeb likes to refer to them, the good old days. But hey, it's the modern times now. This is what we have to. This is what we're going to be doing moving forwards, and it's going to be okay. Jeb will come around. Of course, he'll come around. Now, we always used to start out with a bit of a save update. We used to take it in turns, and this week, it's my turn. What an exciting treat for everybody, because my goodness, have I been doing some streaming since we last caught up with what was going on with my save. If you remember, I was back in that Mad Scientist database back in the olden days with Inter Milan in the 98-99 retro database. And last time we chatted, everything was going quite well. I think we were kind of midway through season number 2. My boy Ronaldo was doing goals for fun, and we were chasing multiple trophies that season. Some trophies were won. Some trophies were secured that season. In fact, most of the trophies were secured season number 2. That boy Ronaldo went on a bit of a mad one. We were sat here saying, hey, maybe he's going to score 100 goals this season. 115. He ended up scoring in the end. 115 goals, which was offensive. I've never seen numbers quite like it, but he just scored. He stayed fit and healthy the whole way through the season. He scored goal after goal after goal after goal after goal. I did lose games. Season 1, I went undefeated in the league. Season number 2, dropped some points here and there, which was terrifying. And for some reason, Roma, despite you having clubs like Juventus who are incredible in the database, Parma, who are phenomenally good in that database, Roma were the team to beat, and they kept pace with me the entirety of the way through the season. We were matching each other's results week after week after week after week. I would drop points, they would drop points. I'd draw a game, they would draw a game. It was a really, really, really tight season. Even though I had Ronaldo, who scored 115 goals, it shouldn't have been as competitive as it was. But Roma, for whatever reason, just turned it on and played some incredible football. They were the first team to beat me. They beat me 2-1 at the start of the season, but then I returned the favour and I beat them 2-1 later on in the season. Comes down to the very, very last day. It comes down to the very, very last day. We are tied on points. However, thanks to the boy Ronaldo, I have got an exceptionally higher goal difference than Roma. They needed to win. I think if I'd won 1-0, they needed to win 48-0 to get me on goal difference. And to be fair, at half time, I was drawing and they were 5-0 up. And I was like, my chat, like, it could happen. This could be the one. Maybe it's going to happen. Fortunately, it didn't. I won my game. Roma won theirs. So we finished the season on equal points, but my goal difference is significantly higher. I get the little trophy lifting celebration. Out come the boys. Hooray. The trophy comes up. The confetti comes down. Everyone's really happy. I'm like, fantastic. I've gone 2 for 2 in the league. Brilliant. What a result. We move through to the next day in the save. And I haven't had the notification that advises me that I've won the league yet. I'm like, oh, that's really, really strange, because normally that's the first thing you see after you leave the match day. It'll say, congratulations, Inter Milan have won Serie A. Happy days. I don't get that notification. I'm sat there talking to chat. I'm like, this is really strange, because normally that's popped up. And then at the top of the screen, in my next fixture, I can see I've got AS Roma coming up in about 4 days' time in a playoff match. What am I in the playoffs for? I've won everything. I've won the league. I've lifted a trophy. There's screenshots and everything. But no, apparently not in Serie A. Apparently the rules are head-to-head record overrules goal difference. And because we both games finished 2-1, we were equal head-to-head. So we had to play one last game, a decider, a winner-takes-all playoff single-leg game against Roma to see who wins the league. Fortunately for me, the day before the game, an international window started. So I would say a good 2/3 of everybody's first 11s just buggered off on international duty. Fortunately, Brazil were not included in that. So
Wow.
yeah, Ronaldo and Ronaldinho just turned up against Roma's reserves, and we battered them 4-0, which was quite fortunate. So won a league title. Won a Champions League, beat Parma in a Champions League final, which was very, very exciting, despite the fact we went down to 10 men very early on. Lost in the Coppa Italia, also to Parma, who had 2 shots the entire game, which was, again, quite frustrating, because at this point in the save, I just couldn't win the Coppa Italia. Got knocked out of it season 1, got knocked out of it season 2, and I was furious. So that all went quite nicely. And then season 3, I thought, you know what's really, really good fun? Just doing an entire season in one stream. Let's just do it that way. because a couple of weeks ago, I did my wonderful charity stream for St. Richard's Hospice, knocked out an entire season in one day, had a bit of a rebuild of the squad, sold some players, bought some new players in, including Juan Sebastian Veron from Parma, who got very, very angry when they wouldn't offer him a new contract. And they showed some interest in one of my midfielders. So I was like, hey, let's do a little swapsy. So we did. Veron came in. The entire team was kind of restructured, a bit of restructuring across the defence, across the midfield. Weirdly enough, Ronaldo stayed. Didn't quite match his 115 goals from the season before, just finished on 91. So really, what's the point? Like, what is the point at this? Embarrassing at this stage. I like to imagine really, really popular Chelsea pundit Rory Jennings just sat there going, no, Ronaldo's not going to score 100 goals again this season. That's an insult to the establishment. How dare he? No, he didn't. He was right. Rory Jennings would have been correct. But 91 goals wasn't terrible. And long story short, I won everything, which was surprising to me, surprising to my chat. The longer the stream went on, the more convinced I was that we weren't going to win everything because, again, Roma were really good. 3 seasons in a row, fought me right until the end, but I just managed to pull away towards the end of the season. Won another Champions League because I just can't stop winning the Champions League. And also managed to break my losing streak in the Coppa Italia. So we won a Coppa Italia, we won a Champions League, won the Serie A, won the Super Coppa Italiana as well, the most prestigious competition in Italian football. Everything went really, 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 really well. I've won everything. And I think it's officially time now for me to retire the save. Because I know. Because what else can you do? Once you've won everything, I mean, what else is there to do? You know, it's fun to keep winning, but I think my time in the past with Inter Milan has now drawn to a close.
It's interesting though, Rich, because quite often people will come into my chat and say, I've won the Premier League 412 times and I've won the FA Cup 65,000 times. They obviously do enjoy just winning everything all the time. But obviously a humble man like yourself, you know, you've won so much. You're like, look, I want to let other people win now. Like, this is getting ridiculous. You know, it's unfair for me to be the winner every single time. So, you know, let's pass the buck over. But I thought it was interesting that you had the trophy ceremony and you hadn't won the trophy, because quite often I win a trophy and don't have the trophy ceremony. So it's like the opposite of it. It's like, you know, when you're like, oh, I've won the league, brilliant, I can't wait to see us read the trophy, lift the trophy, and then it goes over and just goes, there's your match stats, good luck, off you go. You've won the league, congratulations.
Sorry, you say quite often.
Right,
you've won one league, haven't you?
It's not my save update, but I have had two promotions. Okay. So
did you win the league again? I don't know.
No, I did not. I won the playoffs, unbelievably.
It's in the contract. You have to go through the playoffs.
Yeah, I do. But yeah, as I say, not my save update, but I am currently 24th in League 2 and it's going terribly and I'm having a really bad time.
See, now he's smiling. Look at us.
I had to give him something.
Building bridges. That's what we do on this podcast. Yeah, it is very strange. I did note the irony at the time, because as you say, the amount of times that, you know, you'll win a trophy in a save and then you just don't get the ceremony afterwards and you feel a little bit hard done by. To get it without having technically won the league felt a little bit strange. It was just foreshadowing. They knew there was an international break coming. So yeah.
Did you get it again then, Rich? On the second one, did you get it again?
No, absolutely not. Just beat them 4-0. They're like, oh, nice one. Yeah, you've done it. You've seen it once. That was enough. It's like, you know, we had the name was on the trophy, but it was just in Sharpie. So, you know, we were planning ahead. We had a good feeling. I had a very, very good feeling. I've got to say, just take the opportunity. Shout out to the Mad Scientist, because it's such a great database. It's such a good database. The amount of effort he's put in, the fact that he's still updating it now. I think that he's adding new leagues pretty much every couple of weeks at the moment. It's a thing of beauty. If you have not had a little dabble with it yet, if you've not had a play around with it, just get it downloaded and get involved, because just the nostalgia, above all else, the nostalgia is wonderful. It's great fun. I can't recommend it highly enough. If you're struggling for content ideas, like me and haven't already done something in the retro database, then by all means, please do get involved because it's so much fun. So thank you, Mad. It's been an absolute pleasure to get to play with it. And I suppose the other nice thing, what a segue. As a result of that charity stream that I did, where I did the whole season in one day, and I had a lovely time doing it. I'm delighted. I got an email while I was away on holiday from St Richard's Hospice. £673 managed to raise in the end. £673. Mostly, a huge part of that is down to yourselves. Incredibly generous donations from all of you. So thank you, boys. I appreciate you all enormously.
We didn't have any incentive at all to do that, did we?
Absolutely no incentive whatsoever.
Charity,
Absolutely none. Yeah, just out of the goodness of your hearts, the kindness of your beautiful altruistic hearts. So we smashed it. Raised.
Kept predicting that I predict money, I donate money as well. It worked quite nicely, and you did the handstand.
That was amazing.
And then that late night banana thing, that was done as well.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah, that was different.
Contractually not obliged to talk about it. I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed near just a banana aisle in any supermarket in the country now, out of fear that it's going to happen again. I've revolutionized the term banana split, and that's all I'll say, and that's where we'll leave it. But no, thank you, everybody that donated, everybody that hung out with me. There wasn't a single moment I think it was 15 hours I streamed for in the end, because I got through the save a little bit quicker than I was expecting to, if I'm honest with you. So 15 hours we streamed for, and there wasn't a single moment during those 15 hours that I was alone. There were always people in chat. The donations just rolled in throughout the stream, which was incredible. Everybody was amazing. So genuinely, thank you. You're all beautiful, beautiful human beings. And
fantastic.
That money that was raised,
good effort.
Incredible effort. That money is going to go a really, really long way for an organization that do wonderful work. So cheers. However though, boys, it's not just me that's been doing a bit of the old charity work this week. Kev, there's viewers might have noticed there's a slight difference about you this week, which I can't quite put my finger on. Any reason behind that?
Is it just the confidence of being the FM World Heavyweight Champion? Is that what you're talking about?
There is that. It's flowing through you. It's genuinely flowing through you.
Audio listeners will have picked up on the change, obviously.
Absolutely.
It's apparently either I'm having a midlife crisis, or I was involved in a charity stream this week, and we'll go with the second one, even though it may or may not be true. We'll see what you think. So this week, really important week in the FM community in a lot of ways, led by the wonderful the Cult of and Malteser Falcon, who are the guiding lights behind it. There was a week-long charity stream event that happened in the FM community. Started as we speak on a Sunday morning. It started a week ago on the Saturday evening and finished last night. And the idea of it was that a week ago, the Cult of started a new Football Manager save with Maidstone. And after 3 or 4 hours of playing it, took the file and passed it on to another content creator who carried on playing it for the next few hours. And that carried on all the way through the week till the end of Saturday evening last night. And as part of that process, we were trying to raise awareness and raise some money for both Alzheimer's and dementia research and care. Basically, those were the two organizations that were going to benefit through this charity live stream event. So there were about 30 creators that were involved that passed the baton between us. And on Thursday afternoon, in the middle of a championship season, because we'd moved Maidstone up a couple of divisions. I think they started in was it the Vanarama National, or was it the it was the Vanarama National, wasn't it? So they'd moved up a few divisions, done really well. On Thursday afternoon, gents, I had a lovely time getting 3 losses and 1 draw for Maidstone in the championship, because my star striker was out the entire afternoon that I had them for, and I couldn't get him on the pitch at all. That's what I'm saying is the problem, and I'm sticking to it anyway. But that really doesn't matter. It kind of mattered to me at the time. I'm one of those people that would have loved to have done a little bit better and felt like they contributed on the pitch a little bit, but I really didn't. But what we did do was we raised some good money. And as a content creator in that kind of context, you want to find a way to invigorate your chat to do something and financially contribute. So my thought was, if we raise £150 in my 3-hour session on the live stream, I will dye my beard purple. That was the forfeit. I kind of thought, knowing my chat as much as I do, that they probably wouldn't let me down. And so I had ordered some purple dye that showed up during the live stream, which is, happenstance. That's great. And they really didn't let me down. My 3-hour attempt to raise 150 quid was done in half an hour when we were over 200. They really wanted me to dye my beard purple. And we raised a good amount of money for a brilliant organization led by some very, very good people through the week. And I was incredibly happy to do it. So yeah, after my live stream, actually it was on the Friday morning, eventually I got my purple dye out and was absolutely petrified of it, if I'm totally honest. I've never had to do or never chosen to do anything like that before of any sort. I might not do it again, I don't know. But I was so scared that I was going to have some purple blotchy face, or it would go across the entire bathroom and I'd get divorced, or, anything could happen in this. But we managed to do it just about. And now the results for the viewers out there that are actually watching, you can see in front of you. For those that don't, go and check out my Twitter feed and you'll see plenty of images of Kev with a purple beard, and apparently the purple beard's gone to my head and created a drafting beast. So we'll see what happens after this. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. The week itself was amazing. I know Callum was involved as well, and I'm sure he'll recount his side of it in a second. But from my point of view, really pleased to be involved in it. It was a great time. I loved catching up with some of the other streamers as it was going round. And yes, I now have a purple beard.
I personally can't decide whether you roast your own coffee beans now, obviously, and can tell us about all the nuances and all the different flavors you can get, or you're actually just a secret hacker as well. So you become like a tech genius, and you just do that, and you put sunglasses on at night and put German techno on in the background. It's like, yeah, I'm going to hack. I've got 500 million screens in front of you. That's basically what you are now. That's what you are to me.
It's amazing the lifestyle change that can happen in the space of a week, isn't it? Really?
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
What can I say? I've got all sorts of feelings about all sorts of things now. So, and coffee is just one of those things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kev has recently
great.
watched the late '90s film Hackers, and
Yeah,
just thought,
exactly.
me too.
Great
I'm
film.
in.
Great film.
Yeah, you look great. At least you've not got egg on your face.
Well, no, exactly. Callum?
Hi, everyone. If there's ever a reason to watch the visual of this week's podcast, Kev's face is that reason. So make sure you come over and watch it on YouTube as well, because what a sight. It's beautiful, isn't it? It is art, as I said yesterday. So I took over the stream on the final day. I think I was the third last slot. So it was me, then Bob, then back to the Koltov at the end of the day. So I was honestly, so Kev said, he wanted to raise 150 quid and he thought, his chat will probably do it. Being on the last day, I assumed, I'll be honest with you, that most people who wanted to donate had donated. I think I took over a stream that was, off the top of my head, I think it was around the 4,000 mark, which is incredible on its own, by the way, like to have raised £4,000. So I genuinely thought, I probably won't have to do my punishment, so I'll be fine. So I set my punishment as £100 overall. I will crack an egg on my head. Now, to give a bit of context to that, I have a borderline phobia of eggs. I hate eggs with a passion. I hate everything about them. I don't like people eating eggs near me. I really, really don't like eggs. So I thought, you know what? I'm not even going to get an egg because it's not going to happen, is it? So I started the stream. And I think it was about 6 minutes into the stream when Jeb decided to pop in and donate £100. So that was that was good. So I was like, why have you done this? I've got to be happy because it's for charity. But oh no. And then then I had the issue of, well, I don't actually have an egg. And I do have the cracked one on my head. So I got on the phone to my mum, who lives half a mile down the road, and said, those chickens you've got out of the back, would you mind bringing an egg round? And then within about 20 minutes, someone else raided into me. I explained the charity to them. They said, "That's amazing. I'm going to also donate £100." It's like, you have got to be joking me. What is going on here? So then back on the phone to mum. You're not going to believe it, mum. I need a second egg. And it was genuinely really, really good fun. I'll be honest with you. You have 4 hours, and obviously, as we all know, I'm exceptional at Football Manager. However, I didn't have enough time to really show my expertise, I'd say, over the 4-hour period.
I showed exactly my expertise over my 3 hours, I can tell you.
I lost to Man City 3 times. Jeb Callum scored a screamer for me against Everton. I won 3 games. I lost 6-1, 5-0, 4-0. Bob was not happy when he took them over with a 4-game losing streak. But then, just as I was collecting my towels to put down for the egg cracking, Miles Jacobson donated £250. So luckily, my mum had brought 3 eggs. I had told everyone, if we get above 300, I can't do more. It's just not entertaining by the 7th egg, probably. But yeah, so Miles donated to the cause. It was very much not for me. It was very much for the cause. And but it was just ridiculous. And so I cracked 3 eggs over my head. It was quite the experience. People were telling me how to wash egg out of my hair, which was very good because I was just going to get in the shower, but apparently cold water or else it starts cooking. Did you know that? Because I didn't. Apparently, if you get in a hot shower, it starts cooking and it just stays there for days. So I would have been going back to school on Monday with just egg everywhere, like scrambled egg. But the overall total, I'm looking now, and it might have altered since this, but the overall total when we finished streaming was £5,738, which is unbelievable for a community to do. It's crazy to think we've raised that amount of money. And it's such a noble cause as well, the Alzheimer's and dementia research, because it's such a dreadful, dreadful thing. So yeah, it was a pleasure to be a part of. It really was. I was involved in the last one, and that was special. And this one, we just went above and beyond with this one. I felt like it was amazing.
For a little bit of perspective on that total, the original target that we set ourselves at the beginning of the week was £1,500. That was the hope that we would get to, and to get over £5.5 grand for a couple of very good causes was amazing work.
Yeah,
and whilst rightly so in a lot of ways, people like Jack the Koltov and Chris Malteser Falcon, they're pushing all of the glory and all of the kudos onto all the people that were streaming and donating and all that kind of stuff. And that's that's right to a point. People put themselves out there and help the cause. That's great. But those 2 guys, along with their graphics team in the background and some other people that were just helping to make sure everything worked and everything moved forward and it was all structured, and any gaps that came up were filled pretty quickly because somebody had to pull out or whatever it was. So their organization of it was magnificent. And it is absolutely a direct result of that we have come up with an amazing amount of money for a couple of very good causes. So all the kudos out there to those 2 guys, to their team, but also to all the guys and girls that were streaming through the week as well, and all of those that came in and supported and donated. It was an amazing FM community effort.
To be clear on my side, I just donated to the charity. It wasn't for yours. It was just a really happy accident. So
no, it wasn't.
we believe you, Jeb.
Yeah,
we believe you.
I'm currently in Berlin, so I've not had time to consume any FM content this week because I've been working most days and stuff. But yeah, I woke up yesterday. I was like, right, I need to donate, and it just Callum's face when he realised he'd donated £100 and he had to cook an egg on his head.
Happenstance. It wasn't planned out. It wasn't, an evil master plan or anything like that.
Yesterday I had to do runs to the airport, so I didn't actually get to see it happen live. I think I just saw the remnants of like the 3rd egg go into his hair. But yeah, it was glorious.
Amazing effort.
I don't think it could have worked out any better, personally. What a happy accident. What a very, very happy accident.
Whoopsie.
Oh, what are they like? What are they like? Those crazy kids. No, it was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I mean, I said it during my stream the other week. Pound for pound, for my money, the FM community is one of the best out there. The fact that £5,500 raised is absolutely incredible. You know, the money that I managed to raise the week before that, absolutely incredible. Like, was not expecting to get anywhere close to that. And the fact that it's people that, you know, in the most cases, people that you may have interacted with previously, but you might not have met them, you know, and these people are willing to donate their time and their money to these causes. The amount of support that's out there, it's absolutely incredible, Herculean. So I cannot thank people enough. And it doesn't. This is the weird thing, though. It doesn't surprise me anymore when this happens. It used to. It was like, wow, that's incredible. But now it's not that you expect it, but you're not shocked by it, because you know that the generosity of these people exists, and it's magnificent. It's absolutely magnificent. So everybody that was involved, as I say, the week-long stream, everyone behind the scenes, incredible efforts from everybody involved, and more of that kind of thing in the future, please and thank you. Say, what a community, what a total raised, and all the money that's been raised, it's going to go so far to helping people that really need it. So I think on behalf of everybody involved, from this end especially, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
It's pretty
awesome.
good. It's pretty good. Speaking of things that are pretty good, Kev,
Yes.
you know, just in general, just you. You said you've dyed your beard purple, and it's created a little bit of a PvP monster, hasn't it? You know,
kinda
we
has.
heard Jeb Heyman's quite incredible introduction at the beginning of this week's podcast.
Happens wherever I go now. It's great.
Of course, of course. Just plays it. He's got it recorded. Just presses play whenever he walks into the shops. Anything like that. Just the people have to know. The people have to know who you are. There is a new FM World Heavyweight Champion in town. His name is Kev Lesnar. At the time of recording, as I say, that the party is still, you know, Mrs. United City FM is still partying in the background. She's delighted, and rightly so.
I mean, that happens most podcasts anyway. But
Of course. It's Sunday morning, and she's still going strong, because she's the very best of us. Kev, tell us all about it. About how. Talk to us about your incredible achievements last night.
Well, thank you very much. So Michael runs this organization, the FM World Heavyweight Championships. There's tag team championships, there's a heavyweight championship, and he runs it like a pseudo wrestling organization. A little while ago, I won a #1 contenders match to get a title shot against the then champion Wickdiv, Abby, who is absolutely spectacular in every way. Big shout out to them this morning. And you might remember about a month or so ago, I had my title shot one-on-one against Abby in a 2 match matchup. Couldn't find the words, but that'll do. And in the very first matchup, my internet connection crashed on me halfway through the game, and you can't get back in and continue to control your team. So my assistant did so, and did really brilliantly well to get me a 5-1 loss in the first game. So that was kind of my title shot done, really, in that sense. We played the second game, and I was in control of it, and we got a 2-2 draw in that one. Eventually, Abby took the title back home with them, 7-3 on aggregate. And I kind of felt 2 things, if I'm honest. One, that I hadn't kind of had a total crack at it, because it was kind of taken away from me by my poor internet connection. But 2, genuinely, I thought, but I have had my title shot. This was the moment. It was my connection. It went. These things happen, but I don't really deserve anything else. I need to earn something else. So I was quite insistent on Michael afterwards that I would like to earn it again rather than just be handed another opportunity. But he was equally insistent that no, it wasn't what he wanted for a main event title picture either. So I was going to get another chance, and that was fine. He then announced Draftomania, which happened last night, which is an amazing concept and such a logistical nightmare to try and figure out how to actually organize and run. And I think overall they did pretty well, although it ran quite long in the end. So several people, there was a tag team matchup that drafted and then played a couple of rounds of games. There was a couple of individual one-on-one grudge matches, for want of a better term, that they wanted to come and settle some scores. So they drafted at the point where the tag teams were playing their matches. They then drafted, so they were ready to play the matches after that. And then at the end of the evening, the main event was a 4-way battle for Wickdiv's World Heavyweight Championship. It was obviously Wickdiv defending against myself as a returning combatant, with Sai Maggio as another challenger, and a mystery opponent that was announced on the night. I'll get to the mystery opponent in a second. The stipulation was we had £100 million to spend, not too much, but the actual player pool was only Scottish players or players playing in Scotland. Those were the 2 player stips. And then Scottish Tony was announced as the 4th participant in the matchup. What a fix, I thought, for goodness sake. Scottish Tony Jameson strolling in with his highfalutin podcasts and all sorts of other things, taking away our glory by having Scottish players put into his Scottish Tony's drafting competition. I thought the fix is on, folks. The fix. Poor Wickdiv. They're going to lose their title to Scottish Tony. Spoiler alert, Scottish Tony was pretty bad on the night. Didn't really get much at all. It was quite funny to watch, really, for a lot of us, other than Scottish Tony. Bless him. Oh, he knows that I love him. Tony's an absolute sensation, and it was really fun to be with him, but he didn't play particularly great on the night. And in the end, finished bottom of the league. We had a mini league between the 4 of us. We played each other home and away, 6 matches. And I went on a bit of a tear. And I don't really totally understand exactly why, because a few weeks ago, I was suggesting I don't understand draft mode and you can be brilliant one week and awful the next week. And that is still how I feel about draft mode. I've got another one coming up soon and I may go out really early and look dreadful. But on this occasion, my team showed up. I'd had a good draft. Lyndon Dykes was my target forward, and I love a target forward, and it really worked for me on the night. And I went unbeaten in 5 matches, lifted the trophy or the World Heavyweight Championship, which was amazing. And then Sai Maggio beat me on the 6th game because my team went, I don't need to play anymore, do we? And that was unfortunate. So I nearly got the 100% record as well on the 6 games. But yeah, 5 out of 5. Looked really good doing it. In that player pool, you can imagine my delight when the most expensive player basically in the player pool, who was Andy Robertson, who was playing for Sai Maggio, got sent off in my game against him. And that was hilarious to me. And I went on a bit of a tear and smashed the rest of his team quite considerably. But yeah, I am now the reigning, defending, undisputed Football Manager World Heavyweight Champion. And there is even a belt somewhere that might make its way to me at some point. So watch out for that. And it was a lovely time.
Mate, I'm delighted for you. I think my favourite part of that whole thing is the fact that there might be a belt somewhere. That's
it's on its way, I think.
Oh, it's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Again, spoilers. Here's some exciting behind the scenes stuff for everybody who's watching and listening. So originally, Tony and myself were scheduled to have a tag team match against Alistair and How We Roll Owen.
Is that Scottish Tony?
Scottish Tony.
Yeah.
Scottish Tony Jameson. We're
scheduled to win Scottish Tony, yes. Yeah.
Yes, 1 win Scottish Tony. Tony 1 wins. We were scheduled to have a match against Ali and Owen, the potato curry bandits, as they're known on the circuit. It was meant to happen a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, due to some scheduling issues, Owen had a delayed flight, so he couldn't make it back. We were then offered the match, the rematch. So we then rescheduled the match last night. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to play last night, so Tony was offered this Scottish Tony was offered a place in the World Heavyweight Championship match. So, hey, the fact that he was there, down to me. Am I saying that that those 6 points you picked up against him, Kev, were instrumental in you winning the belt? Maybe. So what I don't necessarily want thanks. I just think these are some things that are worth putting out there.
No, that's fair enough. Absolutely, I get.
And also, the other Ali and Owen retained quite convincingly as well. Mm-hmm. So again, congratulations to the 2 of them. At some point, we'll drag this out for ages and ages and ages and ages. I may get the tag title match done.
Yeah, by the time you do, though, myself and Jeb would have swept in, won the tag titles, and it'll be against us instead. By the time,
exactly. Yeah,
Kevin, all the gold, baby, all the gold.
It's all coming home. It's all coming home. Yeah, I mean, congratulations again, mate. Congratulations again. I think after what happened in your original match against Wickdiv, where you had the connectivity issues, it just didn't feel like the story was complete. It didn't feel right. So I'm very, very happy that you got the opportunity for a bit of a rematch there and absolutely smashed it. Absolutely smashed it, mate. So congratulations.
Thank you.
All the belts. That's everybody else's homework. We all now have to go out and win at least one FM-based belt. I'm going to send Michael some emails. I want the FM European Championship. I want the FM TV Championship. All of them. The FM
Hardcore
FTW
championship against Big Damo.
Yeah, hardcore championship against Big Damo. Oh, good. Oh, good. Can't wait. I cannot wait for that. For those of you that don't know, by the way, that was part of my stipulation for my charity stream. If I raised over the £500 I was aiming to get, I now have to wrestle Big Damo, which now is going to happen. And I just can't wait. It's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. It's not going to be fine. It's not going to be fine. I've showed my kids some videos of Big Damo because he's recently put out a bit of a sizzle reel on the old socials. You know, some a nice Big Damo highlight package, which looks incredible because he's an incredible dude. And I've showed them that, and my son took me to one side. He was like, "Daddy, can I talk to you?" I was like, "Of course you can, mate." He took me into a different room. He's like, "Daddy, are you really going to wrestle him? He's going to beat you." Like, no, he's not, mate. He's going to be absolutely fine. But he's like, "No, Daddy, he's really going to beat. I mean, I can nearly beat you, so he's really going to beat you." I'm like, "Thank you, son. Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, your old dad may surprise you." He's like, "No, he won't. He's really going to get you." Thank you, pal. So yeah, we've got that to look forward to, which I can't wait, and I'm sure the three of you can't either. Thanks, boys. Thank you very, very much. So yeah, hardcore match against Big Damo for a non-existing FM belt would be a joy and a privilege. So hey, keep your eyes peeled. Tag team matches, all of Kev's title defenses. He's going to retain forever. He's going to go on a streak. He's going to go on a tear, and he's not going to drop the belt under any circumstances. These are my predictions, and I know them to be true. So there we are. Happy days. Happy days. Now, as we move on to kind of the second half of pod or the next section of pod, we normally like to, there's a bit of a theme every single week. We like to do a few bits and pieces. This week's was chucked out to us by our man Jeb Callum, who is currently recording this podcast from Germany, in Berlin. Am I right in saying
Yes,
that?
I am in Berlin. I've been from Newcastle to Birmingham to Berlin with one night in my own bed in between. So it's been a fun 3 weeks. I was only supposed to be out here for 5 days, but while I was in the airport, they said, "We need you there for 12 days. So today's the laundry day." As I wash. To be fair, I wouldn't actually have had enough pants and stuff like that because of all the traveling around. I didn't have time to do the laundry in between Insomnia and now. A shout out to everyone who came to Insomnia as well. It was really nice to see such a load in the FM community, and Callum was there as well.
I saw the picture of the two of you together. It was a lovely thing.
That was heartwarming. Heartwarming stuff.
So the football, like I said, the Football Manager show was quite nice to see. But then the Saturday there was a lot more creators around as well, so it's interesting to see. And I think chatting to Lelujo, he's never been to a convention that's had so many FM creators at, so it's great to see. And I think there's something there. And I think I put a tweet out about it this week. I said, I think we can do some sort of playoff streamer showdown or something at this show, or even just a big meetup or just a little bit more in-depth panel show, because I think Tony's was about 45 minutes long. I think we can do a couple of hours. Who knows? Let's get FMT up on that stage. We never know. Yep. So yeah, that was great. So I'm now over in Berlin. I am currently working on the Valorant Champions Tour, which is basically the premier Valorant tournament. They spend a lot of money on lights and various things, and it's led me over to Berlin. I'm trying to get tickets today to go see Union Berlin. It's really difficult to get to. But yeah, the Bundesliga is the focus. I think we've all dabbled a little bit within the Bundesliga, mainly probably buying players from there. I think my favourite memory from the Bundesliga is player, probably the early CM2, CM97, 98. Freddie Bobic, unbelievable striker, Bolton legend apparently. And the 4 goals he scored in the 16 games for them. But yeah, Freddie Bobic was amazing. Played to sign. There's obviously shout out to RDF, Chapuisat. Actually, it's a lot of just the Borussia Dortmund of the late 90s. That entire team. I mean, Matthias Sammer. I mean, I think he had 19s and 20s just for everything. You could play him anywhere. And it was always good things. Modern day players like to raid Schlotterbeck, not Kevin, definitely not Kevin, who I have at Pescara. Nico, yeah, Nico's a fantastic centre back, more like almost like a mini Virgil van Dijk when you get him going. Can head the ball on corners and then just defend like an absolute beast. So, yeah, the Bundesliga, I think it's a difficult league, and I think every single time you ever play Football Manager, it's exactly the same. Buy and win absolutely everything. They raid all of your best players just consistently. But I think that there's a lot of challenges out there. There's obviously, I think one of the ones that I might actually start up is using, I think I started a couple of seasons ago on FM, and I might do it while I'm out here or various in between. There's a Victoria Berlin, so you've got Hertha, who are doing rather well. You've got Union Berlin, who are outstanding. I think the 3rd in the Bundesliga currently. But yeah, I think Victoria Berlin are just sat in Bundesliga 3 and don't have a lot of money. So I think that'll probably be my challenge that I want to set myself. Start that up as a save, but go around the Bundesliga. Like, I think just the freedom that you have with players, you don't really have many restrictions, which is always nice for transfers. And I think that's why people gravitate towards there. But yeah, I think the Bundesliga as a challenger, as a division, is a really interesting place to be. I don't know what
absolutely. I think there's a lot you can do with the Bundesliga because, as you've mentioned there, one of the key things I think people enjoy a lot is, as you said, there aren't as many restrictions as there are in countries like Italy, for example. You know, one of the other bigger European leagues. It's an interesting league. It feels to me like a more competitive Liga, in as much as you know that Bayern are going to be the team to beat. Like Bayern Munich are going to be top of the league pretty much every season unless somebody does something exceptional. But at the same time, there are also clubs in that league that if they did win, you wouldn't necessarily be shocked by. Like, you know, you've got your Borussia Dortmunds, you've got your RB Leipzigs, even teams like Leverkusen, for example. Like, if they can put a run together, they're going to be teams that are absolutely challenging. I mean, obviously, as you've said, like Union Berlin this season, outperforming everybody's expectations in real life. So, you know, that hopefully the abilities of those players might be reflected a little bit better moving forward in FM24, for example, because I think some of the players they've got there are going to be due some fairly significant boosts in terms of attributes moving forwards. But there's a lot you can do. There is a lot that you can do there. Shout out to one of the 5-star boys, Dupe, at the start of this season. His save was 1860 Munich, I think, and his plan was to turn them into the most successful team in German footballing history, which sounds like a pretty, big task, because it is, weirdly enough. Imagine trying to take an underperforming team and turning them into the most successful, club in that country's history. Wouldn't catch me trying to do that in certain parts of North America. That's a ridiculous idea.
No, it's Central America. So.
Oh, sorry. Exactly. Yeah. See, I wouldn't even dream of doing it in North America. Central America, that's even more ridiculous. Absolutely no chance I would try and do that. There's a lot to do, and there's a lot to enjoy. I mean, like, as you say, it's really, really, really strong talent pool. Really, really good talent pool as well. There are plenty of players who are currently playing in that league that clubs of all statures, there's, especially if you're managing like a top tier team in a big European country, there are always going to be players in there that catch the eye. Haven't tried him yet this year, but I would really, really like to, based on how much fun I had with him last year, is Karim Adeyemi. Now at Dortmund, previously in Austria, I think it was RB Salzburg. Incredible striker, just quick, really, really, really good finishing, like great attacking attributes. Did bits for me last season with clubs like Lille. He was absolutely outstanding. Not got to use him yet this year, but I would like to. Hey, maybe that'll be the direction I go in content-wise moving forward. Just getting to have a bit of a play with Adeyemi, who I miss terribly. Because
Somebody
he was just-
soundbite that, please.
Hey, please do. It's just in context Rich Owens at this point. It's just in context Rich Owens. I just really want to play with Adeyemi. He just looks lovely, doesn't he? Hey, also he likes a bit of streaming as well. So hey, just come give us a call, Kareem. Come for a chat, and we won't make it weird at all. But no, it's a really interesting league. I mean, Kev, have you got much experience Bundesliga wise? Have you dabbled previously?
Yes, I have. So I've got some stuff that I want to say about it in a second, but I will preface it with the thought that actually my big issue is that I've been playing this game in Football Manager for like 28 years or whatever it is, and it all merges into one, and I can't remember anything. Anybody that tells me back in 08, 09, I got a brilliant save with such and such and had 15 players, I could name them all and they were all... I can't. I really can't. I've got no clue. I know that back in the day, I had a very, very successful good Hertha Berlin save. I mean, this is, a decade ago in real terms, and had a thoroughly good time doing it. And I've played a couple of times in Germany since then. But the main thing that I wanted to say about actually playing in Germany was it was my very first ever YouTube series that I did. Now, I made a couple of errors because I didn't know what I was doing. Because I was a baby YouTuber who had no clue. And my biggest error was ultimately a person with no reputation in the sphere of YouTubing Football Manager decided to make a series out of a German club that he made up. Those two things are really stupid as a combination because nobody's watching for you and nobody's watching for the club that you're playing either. Don't do it, is my advice, until you're well recognized and able to do what you like. I did this save called the United City Randomizer. And it was my big idea was ultimately every FM I was going to restart it with half a dozen options for each of the impactful things in Football Manager: your transfer budget, your wage budget, your league position, your reputation, all sorts of things. And I was going to literally randomize it every season, every new season of Football Manager, and do a different United City randomizer. And on the first season, part of the randomization was it fell on Germany as the place I needed to create my club. So I spent lots of episodes of the United City Randomizer, which were all absolutely dreadful, looking back on them now, pretty much, as my first port of call in the sphere of creating content on Football Manager. And it was a lovely time to sort of get used to doing YouTube when nobody was really watching too much. And so I created the United City FC, and we had a good go, and it was a lovely thing. But yeah, my experience of German football in terms of Football Manager isn't overly vast. My experiences of German football, full stop, isn't massive. It's not a league that I actually follow by watching much of the games. I guess most of my interaction with it in FM23 has come through drafting and finding some good people to draft in. I mean, we'll all go to the most obvious one to a point in at the moment is Jude Bellingham, sitting in Borussia Dortmund's central midfield. And if you get an opportunity to draft him into your central midfield on an FM23 draft, then please do it, because he's absolutely awesome. But there's another name in there that I would like to highlight as somebody that everybody will know, and maybe more so this week or so, because he's had a bit of an interesting week IRL, is Leroy Sané. Leroy Sané playing out there at the moment. He's had a fun week with Sadio Mane, let's just say that. But in drafting terms, he's one that is one of those odd players where you look at him and you think, yes, please. Absolutely, yes, please. Pace to burn, has got trickery, can get up and down, do that thing. But actually unlocking that is a little bit more tricky, I find, with him. He has never quite shown up for me as much as I think he probably should, but I'm still kind of determined to make it work somehow, because he seems to have everything that I really want off of one of those wide areas. So Leroy Sané's a work in progress drafting wise for me, but I think there's something in there, obviously, if you can afford him. But yeah, that's mainly where my experience of German football has happened in FM23 is on those draft modes and trying to find the unlocked potential of some of those players. But I've had plenty of experience over the years.
Absolutely. I mean, Callum, you're somebody who's sat on many a panel, especially for things like the FM playoffs. Are there, with the exceptions of your, as Kev has mentioned, the obvious ones like your Jude Bellinghams, are there any Bundesliga players that you see getting picked up frequently, or alternatively ones that you think don't necessarily get enough love from the drafting community?
Well, until very recently, obviously, I would have probably gone towards Robert Lewandowski. But obviously, as we all know really well, he's moved to Barcelona now. So unfortunately, I can't say him.
Do you know that really well there, Callum?
Really well.
Yeah, you sure? You sure?
Really well.
Not re-recording this at all, are we? No.
I definitely knew that. I definitely knew. But I think when you're looking at the sort of budget picks, the obvious one that comes to mind is Makoko, just because even though he doesn't develop an awful lot in a small period of time during a draft, but is he still £1 million? He's always very cheap, usually.
There or thereabouts.
So he's quite a nice one to have off the bench. A bit of explosive pace late on. Similar to sort of Daniel Malen or Sebastian Haller, and I definitely haven't just been told those players, and I know all about them. Also, Robert Lewandowski, great, so good in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, I mean, what surprised me about Lewandowski, considering he's been mentioned, I had no idea, and again, this just shows my exceptional European ball knowledge. He's currently the top scorer in the Liga. As is my understanding, which is, again, since he's made the move to Barcelona, he's just kind of like disappeared off my radar, which I know sounds like a really odd thing to say, but you would expect him to go to that league and score goals anyway, so it shouldn't be surprising that he is the top scorer out there. But it just feels like, I think because there's so much focus from people this year on clubs like Real Madrid, they've another really successful European campaign for them. You've got players like Karim Benzema, who's like in the best form of his life. They've got all these really exciting players coming through. All the Barcelona talk this year has just been about what a mess the club is in financially. What is it they're going to do next to activate the next, step of their, is it economic levers? It's like, hey, we've done NFTs. Now, give us 50 quid and we'll send a squad player around your house to make you a cup of tea or something. We'll figure it all out. So there's all these disasters going on off the pitch for Barcelona. It doesn't, to me, feel like there's been very much talk about what's been going on it. And the fact that Lewandowski has just gone out there and he's just carried on the incredible form he was in for all those years in the Bundesliga. He's carried it on with Barcelona. It surprised me, which I feel like in hindsight it shouldn't have done, because I've heard rumours that Robert Lewandowski is actually quite a good striker. So weird,
He's all right,
weird that one. Yeah, he's all right. I've heard the rumours. About him. Emre Can is another one for me. It seems to be in terms of the drafting, it seems to be quite Dortmund heavy, doesn't it?
Yeah, just Dortmund.
Emre Can.
Yeah, Hummels as well. Obviously very slow. Definitely not that keeper. I don't know if you saw it basically looked like it was rigged, the Bayern versus Borussia Dortmund game the other week, where the keeper came down and just missed kick the ball and it went in. It was just Kobel, isn't it? Yeah, so that's the keeper at the moment. But yeah, I think like Leipzig have got an outstanding array of youth talent, and you've got I think there's quite a lot to develop there as well. And I think there's been a number of saves. I think Kleit's hurt to Brazil last season, so there's a lot of nice ideas you can carry out, and there's a lot of I wouldn't say fallen giants, but people like Werder Bremen and Wolfsburg used to be big in the early 2000s. You had players like Diego, even Hamburg as well. I think everyone discovered Raphael van der Vaart before he moved to Tottenham at Hamburg back in the day. So yeah, there's a lot. There's always a lot of talent hanging around the Bundesliga.
Yeah, there really, really is. Wolfsburg always spring to mind. That graffiti goal against Bayern Munich, where he just took it past 5 defenders, then just back heels it into the opposite corner. Philip Lahm just flops at it really dejectedly before it crosses the line. And there's always going to be clubs that have got just a few little gems in there. Ironically, before in real life they do get snapped up by clubs like Bayern Munich. They've always got those players. There's always going to be clubs that have got superstars there that are really, really fun to use. I had a little dabble with Stuttgart before I did the Mad Scientist save. really, really good fun because again, there's a couple of players in each squad that just make it fun. You know, I have players like Silas. It's great fun to use. It's quick, tricky. You know, I never got the best out of him because we had a bit of a fractured relationship with his demand for 60 grand a week when I was paying him 10. I take it all back. Actually, I hate him. He's terrible. The emotional damage from the man Silas there. But no, there's enough players, and it's that most clubs are going to be well strengthened. You don't need to have a huge transfer budget because players that might not be cutting it in a league like the Premier League. If you look at Stuttgart being a prime example, you've got Dan Axel Zagadou, who turned up on a free and is absolutely wonderful, and Mavropanos as well, who I think was on Arsenal's books for a few years, couldn't really break into their first team, has then just moved to Germany and established himself as a really, really strong centre-back. So there's so much fun to be had. So much fun to be had in the Bundesliga. So again, if you are struggling for content ideas like this guy, Bundesliga could be the place for you to go. I would wholeheartedly recommend a little trip to Germany at some point in the not too distant future.
If you want a real challenge, obviously Schalke's the one because they have absolutely no money at all. And are very much in a hole. I mean, they got promoted again, but they are still struggling. And I think, obviously, shout out for St. Pauli because they're all pirates.
They absolutely are. Absolutely wonderful. Or just try and take a club from Berlin and do big things because for the German capital, in terms of its footballing history, it's not got a compared to your clubs from places like Munich, it's struggling. It's absolutely struggling. Although apparently one of the main criticisms that I was reading about this morning before we started recording, when Jeb pitched this idea, there are a lot of German pundits that blame the cultural diversification of Berlin as being one of the reasons that it's not very good at football, which I wholeheartedly disagree with. German pundits do better. Do better. No, it's just too many exciting players from all over the world in this. That doesn't equip that. That doesn't equate to good football. Surely not. No, it does. It absolutely does. And just embrace that and run with it because it's a good thing. We enjoy that kind of thing. What a very, very bizarre criticism of why your city isn't necessarily as good at football as other cities. Nonsense business. So there we go. Go to Germany. Do a football. That's my advice. And we didn't, and if you decide to do that, let us know how you're getting on. Just leave comments under this video. Let us know on the Discord. Let us know via Twitter how you're getting on in Germany, because we would genuinely like to know. We're interested. We like that kind of thing, and more of it in the future. Please and thank you. Lovely stuff. I think in hindsight, boys, it's probably not far away from us starting to wrap up podcast. But before we start to do our wrap up of podcast, I think we should all let you know that we're recording this on a Sunday morning. So tomorrow evening being Monday evening, I think we've agreed tentatively that we're going to see the return of the FMT network game. Hooray! Do you remember that network save that we were doing?
He's not involved, is he?
He's no Callum's not involved.
That's fine.
Callum's got Slough to take care of.
So. Technically, I'm not involved much either at the moment.
It's going to be an interesting experiment because I'm going to have to dial into my own PC at home to get the save up and running. So that'll be running. Whether I'm streaming will be, I don't know, but the other two will be. Yeah, we'll
make it work.
Yeah, we'll make it work in some shape or form.
Jeb will be in the call. Everything will be fine. And then maybe I think next week, I think Callum, if you want to, spend 5 minutes grilling us over our network game performances, I think we'd all be okay with that.
It won't take 5 minutes.
I mean, currently I'm currently in limbo, or like just outside the pearly gates, judging by my background. I don't know what's going on. So this is the beauty of moving back to a webcam that's not very good. So there we are.
just don't follow the light, Jeb. Don't follow the light.
I'm going through this door. I'm going to go through it. I'm going to do it.
I thought Jeb has recently joined Imperium, and he's just the middle of
the entrance. I better not get by Gunther soon. Walter. I'm calling him Walter. His name's Walter.
It's Walter. Just accept that it's Walter. Absolutely. That'll be back. So that'll be exciting. If you come and watch us, I'll be doing some streaming. Kev will probably be doing some streaming. Jeb maybe not. And don't worry, we will come up with by the end of tomorrow night's stream, Kev will be employed.
in the Bundesliga.
In the Bundesliga. We will make it happen. Don't worry, that we will figure this out. Don't worry, it's all going to be okay. So there we go. More of that kind of thing. Network game tomorrow night, Monday. Come and have a little watch. I would try and remember exactly what was happening last time.
Of course, that's mostly for patrons who are listening to this on Monday during the day. True. For anybody listening on Tuesday, I might have a job. Who knows?
There you go. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Kev is now managing Man City for whatever reason.
Brilliant.
It's all going fine. It's all going fine. So there we go. That's the only that's happening. But apart from that, fellas, I don't know about the three of you, but I reckon that's probably a podcast.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Good. That felt nice. I enjoyed that. I had a nice time doing that.
Good to be back.
Isn't it though? It's brilliant to be back. Before we sign off for the day, Jeb, we'll start with you. If people would like to get engaged with what you are doing, where can they find information about that, streaming or otherwise?
Twitter.com/the Jebbaroo. I'm not streaming probably too much in the next couple of weeks, so go follow Malteser_Falcon because he's done an amazing job with the community stream this week. Go give him a shout out, definitely.
Wonderful. Can't agree
more.
The truck. Mal, up the truck. What a guy. What an absolute hero Mal is. Callum, what about yourself? If the people want to find you or just other people that you enjoy, where can they do so?
Yeah, I'm YCallum on everything, YCallum_ and YCallum on Twitch. In a similar sort of vein, go and follow the Cult of. He's done a cracking job on the charity stream, and it would be lovely to follow him. I'm pretty certain he's got underscores in his name, so I'm going to double check. Is he not?
It's the Cult 0F. That's the important thing.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. The Cult 0F. So go and follow him because he's done an amazing job this week. And having watched quite a lot of his content, it's very, very different. Getting the view of someone who actually works on the game is really intriguing. How his mind works with the save. The way he demantled the Maidstones team over the summer, which he took over, was quite the watch. It was quite the watch. How he just absolutely obliterated what everyone had been doing. And gone, now I'm going to make us a good team. Very, very interesting. Go and watch Jack.
Excellent. Kev, what about you, pal? Point the people in the direction of some content.
So you can find me both on Twitter and Twitch at the United City FM. I'm on Twitch every weekday afternoon, 3 till 5 p.m. Don't go and watch everybody else. I'm the champ, damn it. Come and watch me. Every weekday afternoon, 3 till 5 on my Homeward Bound series. And we'll hopefully see you on the network game. And I might have a job there. And we'll see you back here next week. Rich, have you got any idea who you're going to be streaming with and when you're going to be streaming and how long it's going to last for and what's going to happen next? Let us know.
Yeah. To answer all of your questions there, Kev, no, I don't. But I'll figure it out. Look, Monday is going to be network game. Thursday, Kev and I are drafting for the FM Spring Cup.
Yep.
Spring Cup. So we are drafting on Thursday and the competition is next Sunday. So I don't have to figure out content for at least another week. I'll figure something out. Just keep an eye on socials, which is at Rich Owens FM on Twitter. In terms of shouting other people out, I'd like to just take a moment to shout out Kev's victims from last night. Cy Maggio, Wickdiv, Tony Jameson, all excellent streamers, all deserve your time and attention. So if you're not already following Cy, Abby and Tony, just make sure you're doing that because I'm sure they would appreciate it because they're good people who
I'm supposed to say that I'd prefer an evening in their company rather than a title, aren't I, or something? But no, bring me the title. Where's my title? Damn it.
No, Kev's here to win and Kev has won and he's... I don't want to say insufferable, but I'm expecting, sunglasses, big fur coats.
That purple beard's going to his head a bit. I'm a bit worried.
It's the dye. It's the fumes.
Here we see this is the new arc. It's it's Kev's very, very subtle heel turn. It's not subtle at all. He's got a purple beard now. He does what he wants, and he can because he's the champion. Lads, I've had a really, really nice morning. It's been great. It's lovely to be back. It's great to have everybody in. The full FM team is here. Oh, there it is. There's the wave. He started early. I love it. I absolutely love it. from all of us, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very, very much for watching or listening. Thank you for spending a bit of time in our company. We appreciate you as always. From myself and the FM team, thank you very much. And we will catch you on the next episode of Football Manager Therapy. Take care. Love you lots. Bye-bye.